What's good, man? It's your boy TDR Shot. We are back with another video. This is part 2 of the Jubilee video. We're gonna get straight into it, man. Fuck all that talking. Fuck all that talking. Hey, and from the first one, Taquavius, come get your son, nigga. You stepped out on that nigga. Hold on. You stepped out on that nigga and you fucked his brain up. Taquavius, come get your son and be in this nigga's life.
Please step forward.
Women experience more sexism than men. I would say if you go online, men 100% experience more sexism than women. But I think on the day-to-day basis, I do think like in real life, outside of the internet, it's still women. That's what I'm saying, bro. This nigga should have just stayed. This nigga is not a men's right activist. This nigga is a feminist, bro. Like, and I hate when they do this. Stop putting these half-ass, weak-ass on the niggas on the real soldier side. The niggas is standing in. They gonna get shit for this all day. They gonna get shit on all day for this. And you let him come in and weasel his way into the opposition and put a chink in their fucking armor. This nigga's a snake. He's a fucking snake and a liar.
Now, I don't know about like more, but I'm coming at this from like the point of view of like what's more dangerous.
Exactly.
Like misandry, men's feelings get hurt, but when it comes to misogyny and like sexism, women get hurt, killed. So when I think of more, I'm not thinking like, oh, they face more sexism. Like, is the sexism like hurting you?
No, the same way. I was looking at it when I heard sexism.
Again, Taquavius. That's not the question, bro. The question is more, so please don't interpret the question. Answer the question. You know, I would love if people stopped interpreting the question to fit what they're saying. I would love if you just answer the fucking question. You know what I'm saying? Answer it, and then we can get into the interpretation.
I just heard safety.
Yeah.
That was the way I was approaching it. The topic was basically men experience sexism. I don't think anybody would disagree with that. I think the topic was just more sexism, like you said, you know, just simple things, just as like a man maybe just 10 feet behind you at night, you know? There are certain thoughts that just run into your head. Just simple ideas such as being treated differently in the entertainment industry versus how as a man. When I hear sexism, again.
I also want to say too, do you guys think that like if women were not like on top, like there's more women in the industry, that it wouldn't be the opposite way? Like, I don't understand why people make this thing. Like, I think if it was different, like if women was like the ones, niggas wouldn't be in shit. Niggas would not be in nothing, like at all. They would not, they'd be like, what is the point of having a man here? This is a women dominated industry. Like, and I think men respect that. But and again, I'm not saying that women should be in men's industries or there is a such thing as a men's only industry. But I'm just saying, I just feel like when you look at it, a woman's industry is not really letting niggas knock on that door unless they're gay. Like a straight man in a woman's industry is crazy.
And like you said, I view it more as just danger. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like for men, me facing sexism, like you said, my feelings might get hurt, but I'm not gonna fear for my life, you know what I mean? As opposed to women, I think they genuinely do fear for their lives more, and I think we should work towards making a safe society for everybody. Right. And I think that that's ultimately, you know, what's important.
Aside from safety, any other examples?
Yeah, I mean, I think when most people in power are men, and then they can abuse that power by, like, the common joke of, oh, she slept her way to the top. Like, that wouldn't be such a common joke if it weren't for women being sexualized and experiencing sex.
I don't know, that was a joke. I think this is rude. I've never heard that and thought funny. I've always thought, damn.
Sexism, so common that it's just a regular joke that we all just accept and just go with, ah ha ha ha, she slept her way to the top. Like, it's funny. Like, it's clear that since men have so much power, and not only that, but men are bigger than us. So if they want something from us at any point, they could just take it. They can, and a lot of times they do. And you just have to sit there and.
Okay. A lot of times they do. I'm going to just keep it 100, bro. y'all run into hundreds, thousands of men a day. These niggas is not graping you. Okay? So please, like, just like, I just hate the idea of like, this is an all men thing. There's probably, and I'm going to say, it's probably like 15, 20% of niggas who grape women, which is a lot. I'm not like under my ass, not a lot, but like there's 80 of us who would never do it. So please, like, stop saying a lot, because it's not a lot. It's a couple, a few, you know? And again, not trying to put my business out there like that, but as a man who has been inappropriately touched by multiple women without my consent, it happens on both ways. It's all power dynamics, baby.
Take it.
Men are each other's worst enemy. I feel like a lot of the sexism that men face that really impacts them is from other men. Men make fun of each other for like getting assaulted.
Facts.
Men make fun of each other for like not getting the girl. Men, like, these are things that if men really wanted, if these men's right activists really wanted to change this notion, they would be treating their fellow man better.
No, I mean,
But they're ridiculing them for not being masculine enough.
100%.
I'm sorry, bro. I feel so bad attacking this black man. I hate attacking black men, but bro, he's speaking from experience. I'm speaking from experience too, but I'm just saying, you can tell he got a real problem with the dudes. He was the dude, and again, there's no problem with this guy, and there's no problem, again, there's not a problem with like with the dude I'm explaining at all. I fuck with dudes like this, but he was dude, he's reading his books. He's being very quiet. He's not cracking jokes. He's a chill dude. He's probably in anime. I'm in anime. He's a quiet dude. Like, he's not really trying to get into everybody's business. You know what I'm saying? He's not super strong, outspoken. He's not like the tough guy. He's just a regular chill dude. And the dickheads was bullying this nigga. I could tell. He probably has a strong feeling of like, they used to say, again, not trying to put this on you, but I'm just saying, this is the vibe I'm getting. They used to say I wasn't black enough. They used to say I wasn't black enough because I'm not from the hood and I'm not joining a gang and da, 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 da. He give me that type of shit, bro. And it's just like, bro, at some point, let it go, okay? Like, these niggas, yeah, when you was a kid, you was 16, you're not even 16, you was 8, 9, 10, you know what I'm saying? Them niggas was bullying you because you was a little wimpy, whatever, bro. It just happens, bro. They were kids. Let it go.
Sorry, I was gonna say, I agree with everything you're saying. Like you said earlier, men shoot themselves in the foot.
Yes.
And I believe someone said earlier that men, when they talk about the loneliness epidemic, it's only about ever getting the girl, but it's never about friends.
About camaraderie with fellow.
Exactly, no, yeah. What is it, like, one of the things that I think that you really touched on earlier, men shoot themselves in the foot often. There's just this idea that it's the same way you see poor people attacking other poor people because they're not getting paid enough. Men will attack other men because it threatens their masculinity or because they're insecure in it. When again, I'm just not like a broken record player here. It's not a real concept. Masculinity is not a real concept. Femininity is not a real concept. These are just things that just hold us back. And like you said, it halts us from.
I just want to know too, if masculinity and femininity aren't real concepts, like, what are real concepts? You know, like what is a real concept then? If you know what, this is what we're gonna do. Let's look up the idea. Let's look up, what is a concept? What is a concept? What's a condom? An abstract idea, a general notion, a plan or intention, a conception, an idea or invention to help produce and experiment test viability of new design features of a car or other vehicles. An idea or mental picture of a group or class of objects formed by combining all their aspects. And let's go back to what he said. He said it's not real.
It's not a real concept. Masculinity is not a real concept. Femininity is not a real concept. These are just
Okay.
things that just hold us back. And
Maybe,
like you said,
maybe bro just means it's just a concept, not a real concept. It's just a concept, Like, maybe that's what he means. Again, don't like this guy. Fuck him.
halts us from really truly like feeling heard, getting our feelings out there, and like experiencing more empathy.
You know what he kind of remind me of? Like, y'all know the nigga from what's Kim Possible, bro? You remember Kim Possible, the dude in the backseat? Like, if he had like these ugly ass dreads, he looked just like him.
We need to, again, destroy the system,
The computer
destroy
guy.
patriarchy, and come up with a system that has empathy for everybody, because it just doesn't.
I think what's important to recognize is that misandry is not a systemic issue. It's not ingrained in us to the extent that there is like rhetorical misandry of like women saying, I hate all men, you know, it's just like individualized, like, yeah, sure, unhelpful things, but it's not an otherization in the same way that misogyny is.
No,
I think that the world has been largely constructed through the male and man lens and in a way that has otherized women. And so, yeah, misogyny is more endemic to gender relations rather than misandry being sort of like individual outbursts of reacting to that system.
No, exactly, 100% agree.
Okay, and we're going to bring in our disagreeers, but I do want to say some of the things that you were saying you hear from men's rights activists. I agree, I've heard that online. I haven't heard that from these people in this discussion yet. I think it's just worth clarifying. Let's bring in our disagreeers.
We'll see.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so I would disagree that you say misandry is not systemic. Cultural misandry is evident in a lot of the laws that neglect men. Misandry is why homeless men don't have as many shelters. It's why we don't take male victims of domestic violence as seriously. It's why men's health care is underfunded. And there's a psychological...
Let me also combat this too. I think, again, and this is a benefit and what's it called? A detriment to men. Men are more dangerous. They're more combative. They're less team working, team building. So you put 50 dudes who ain't got nothing in the room, something's gonna happen. Like, it's just like, you don't know what's gonna happen, but something's probably gonna happen. You put 50 women in a room, something might happen there too, but it's just less likely. So it's probably a safety thing, more like, hey, like, you know, we just got the 6'3", 220 homeless dude just walking around, bro. You ain't got nothing to lose. The dude with nothing to lose, it's scary. It's scary.
phenomenon called the Women Are Wonderful effect, where society and people have less empathy for men in a general sense. Now, there may be some nuance there, as there could be some negative consequences for women, but overall, we see social welfare programs and laws mostly disfavor men. And even if it's a male politician who supports that law, he's still catering to his voters. And the fact that a male politician makes a decision doesn't resurrect the 19-year-old draftee who was killed in battle. So when you say that misandry isn't a thing, I completely disagree. It's almost become fashionable. Misandry is almost a fashionable trait among the left. And I'm not a right-winger, but I almost feel pushed this way because when I try and talk about men's issues, I get some very sharp reactions from the left.
So I just want to respond to that just because it was specifically directed at me. In terms of misandry not being systemic, I agree that those issues exist, but a lot of what you're referring to is just the relationship between men having disadvantages due to like socioeconomic status and comparing that to benevolent misogyny, which does actually otherize women and is a form of dehumanization that they should be specially cared for and specially undertaken. There was a study out of the University of Chicago in 2005 that found that when you actually diversify the amount of judges in a court, sex-based discrimination lessens. So the reason why misandry isn't systemic is because we don't live in whatever the opposite of we don't live in a matriarchy, right? So men do things that of course disadvantage other men, but it's not because they're men. They're not being discriminated because it's due to them being like poor or whatever other sort of specific situation that they're in.
And I just want to add that like the reason there are women-only spaces or women-only shelters is because men are the perpetrators of most of the crime. Now they are also the victims of a lot of the crime, which is why I didn't agree with the prompt, because I think it is that sexism. Like they did touch on it and he did touch on it, that like, oh, men are supposed to never back down from a fight. I even hear things like, oh, if men should have to know how to fight. Men should have to be aggressive. And, you know, so these women-only spaces is because women, most of the crime that's done on women is from men. So it's a safer place for women when there are no men around, especially when women that are homeless or at the bottom ranks of society.
Well, I don't disagree that we need a women's-only space. I'm just saying there is a lack of men's space available. So there are homeless men and abused men who don't have spaces available. We are not against women's spaces. We're just saying there is a greater need for men's spaces than currently exist.
You guys are referring to violence like it belongs to men.
Most of,
But it does
especially
not.
serious violence,
It
like
does.
most of the
No, it
women that
doesn't.
are
Physically,
getting
it does.
killed
No,
through
it does
domestic
not.
violence, yes, they are.
Women are 1 out of 3 women in the U.S. were victim of domestic violence.
Do you have an experience to pull from that you want to share?
I've been hit by women before.
I've been stabbed.
Like I've
Whoa.
been hit multiple times.
Hey, I just want to know, why did you stab him? that threw me for a big ass left. Bro seems like the most calm, polite, chill dude ever. What made you stab him? Whoever stabbed him, please stand up. Stand up and say, I stabbed him because he was talking crazy and I just had to get him. You know what I'm saying? I want to know. This is a story that needs to be told. And if they don't come back to it, I'm going to be very upset. I can't speak.
By women. Yet I'm a 225-pound guy of muscle and I have 20 years of experience. You know what I did? Nothing. I just took it. But if I were to go to the police, you know who they would remove from the house? Me. My ex-wife, when I was going through a divorce, told me that she'd lied to the police in order to file the divorce faster because it was taking too much time. Because where I'm from in Canada, it's 1 year. Like they will tell you that you need to be separated for a year so you have a chance to rekindle. But all I'm saying is violence is violence no matter. I'm not saying that men are not violent. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is I've seen women as violent. It's just that it is not regarded in the same way. Just as you mentioned,
No, but
men are not taken seriously either. And the point I wanted to bring is to what you said. Because you mentioned that earlier, and correct me if I'm wrong, you were saying that men are not encouraged to speak about their feelings.
I would say largely that's true, yeah.
Yet you're bringing them down in your conversation. You're saying that being sexist towards a man is not as big of a deal as being towards a woman. So on one point you're saying,
Ooh, he gotcha. Ooh, he gotcha. He said, hey, man, you talk about some, I like that. That's a good little, hey, man, you over here talking about some, oh, it's whatever, this is the bigger problem. You was really shitting on it, though. Like, you shitting on us niggas right now by saying, like, it's not a big deal what you're going through, which is why we don't speak up, because of niggas like you.
saying that men should be able to show their emotions, to live their emotions, however term you want to use. But in the next sentence, you're saying that the emotion of a man don't matter as much.
No, their emotions certainly matter, and I think that you can express like disagreement or even sadness if somebody's being quote unquote misandric. I'm just saying it's not systemic. And that's a matter of fact. I'm saying in the descriptive reality of what misandry is versus what misogyny is, it's not actually systemic.
Just
right?
right
So I'm
now,
having a
it's systemic.
factual disagreement with what men, quote unquote, are expressing their feelings, which I don't think the majority of men or even a plurality of men are expressing those sorts of feelings, that misandry is like some big burden on them.
Why are more laws against men, though? I mean, there's more laws in the U.S. that are disfavored to men than women. Why is that?
Like,
I would love to just go around and ask dudes, like, how many of y'all girlfriends hit you all the time? Like, I really want to break that down, because I think every dude's girlfriend, almost every dude I know, girlfriend like puts hands on them, like just a little hit here, a little hit there, and dudes just kind of sit there and take it, and it's like, yeah, like you never really gonna hit your girl like that because you're gonna bruise her. 1, 2, it's a girl, and then 3, it's like 3. Your girl probably not gonna bruise you. That shit still hurt though. It still hurts though. I just think like when you take that, is that systemic then? That because women are seen as like you said, others are, they're seen as, yeah, nigga, move. You know that fucking noise. It's like even though they're seen as other, they're seen as almost, you know, not, I guess you can say not human or whatever, that their violence isn't even seen as the same thing. Like, is that systemic? Or would you just say that's social, so it's not really systemic? That's a question I would ask, brother.
which laws? Like the inconsequential draft?
No.
Like what laws?
Access to certain healthcare programs. Prostate cancer, the biggest killer of non-smoking men, is not covered under the ACA.
Okay, women in like half the country don't even have a right to like bodily autonomy, don't have access to effective contraception. You're comparing amount of rights.
You compare them. Wait, you compare those.
No, you literally just said men don't have more rights than women. You said that men have less rights. And when I asked you for an example,
There's no women's.
oh, you said access. You said access to spaces.
Certain welfare programs.
Well, no,
yes.
so men don't have access to male-only spaces, but men do have access to, and I do believe in a strong social safety net. But there's not male-exclusive spaces because there's not gendered violence of women against men to the same degree that there is in their.
That is just not
That is
true.
false.
That is
No,
so
that is
false.
false.
That is so false.
That is
in
false.
terms of legitimate safety, in terms of like risk of
Yes,
injury,
yeah.
risk
One
of
out
death.
of 3 will face domestic violence. 1 out of 4 men face the same violence. The point is that we don't report it.
What do you mean by same violence?
Why does it matter if it's the same or not?
But are you against male-only spaces existing in the first place?
Not necessarily, but I don't think that it's some like widespread systemic issue or that it's the issue that men like necessarily needed. Or I think that if you had co-ed spaces, I don't see why a co-ed space would be detrimental to men, whereas I do see co-ed spaces can being detrimental to women and the need for women-only spaces.
But do you think that male victims face certain stigmas and stereotypes?
I do believe that we need to destigmatize the way that men experience victimhood. A lot of men believe that it's demasculating to ask for help, and that is something that, as a feminist, I push up against. I also think it's wrong to consider a man less of a man based on like how much he earns. I do believe that we should encourage men to like share their feelings.
What I find ironic in your statements is that you're literally saying that men's feelings don't matter as much.
No, what?
You were talking about sexism earlier. This is literally what you said.
I'm just giving you a descriptive reality of why male-only spaces don't exist. I don't think that it would be like the most intrinsic evil in the world if a male-only space existed, but it's not a like necessary part of the way that sexual or gender-based violence is experienced by men.
Since I have been a kid, it has been common in the media to refer to men as trash, to say that men are the problem, men are terrible, et cetera, to the point that on national TV, a guy got his chopped off and they were laughing about it. And nobody said anything and nobody cared. And if the reverse happened, I don't think it.
I would love to see that clip. Because that's crazy. Dude got his thing chopped off. And they got on TV and laughed. Nobody said like, they probably was like, man, what'd he do? Oh my God. Imagine you get your dick chopped off and you get put on TV and somebody asks, what did he do though? Like, he cheated. He cheated. I would have done it too. Oh my God, bitch. Oh my God.
Outrage.
Does anyone on this side want to? Do you see that
I agree
happening?
that should be an outrage, and the reason why it isn't is because it's considered demasculating for men to be victims, and I think that in order.
Again, I think it's also self-fulfilling. It's not when at that point when you're on TV and your dick is chopped off, that's as unmasculine as it gets. Being a man and not having a dick is as unmasculine as it fucking gets. I'm not gonna lie. And so. So I think when they get on TV and they laugh at you for not having a dick, I don't think that has anything to do with, asking for help isn't masculine. So I'm just gonna sit here and take it because it's, unmasculine me for wanting somebody to feel bad for me. Like, no, bro, it's just a problem.
To dismantle that, we should dismantle unhealthy views about masculinity, which is exactly what feminists are trying to do.
I think if you guys
Cap, I don't think that's what feminists are trying to do.
did a good job at that. It's been 100 years since feminism started. You maybe have some progress. I don't think feminists care about men at all. They just want to give women special privileges and treatment.
You're basically saying that men should be taken serious and their violence should be taken serious, but you're not.
And I also want to say, there is nothing about men in feminism. Like, there's nothing that help men's spaces in feminism. And women who are feminists are not thinking, let's take down these masculine roles so that the men feel better about themselves. That is not what they think at all.
Not understanding that when you talk about women being violent, you're talking about it from a patriarchal standpoint.
Who says though?
It's because patriarchy weaponizes men to be more violent. Women are seen as not culpable for their violence. It strips them of their agency and infantilizes them for when they do commit violence. And you guys are upholding that system by not joining us.
Hang on, feminists support gendered laws on domestic violence. In the UK in 2020, feminists actually protested against the domestic abuse bill because they didn't like the fact that it was gender neutral. The Duluth model in the US, feminists protest the fact that it's gender neutral. So it's feminists who want to perpetuate these gender roles by saying laws should be gendered and recognize gender into the factor. So it's not MRAs who perpetuate it. We want gender neutral laws. Yes, there may be differences in gender.
These niggas got an acronym, MRAs. These niggas are united. These niggas have come together. I'm not gonna lie. Hey, shout out these niggas, man. I didn't know we had a name. Let me not say we. I'm sorry. I don't want to claim this. I don't want to claim these niggas. But MRAs, niggas said, together, strong.
That might be a case-by-case decision. Feminists are the ones who support laws that are by and large gendered and inherently, by default, treat men and women differently.
I'm just very confused how you're calling out feminists for like having these crazy views.
When you hear what he's saying, though, that he perceives feminists as advocating for gendered laws.
Some feminists.
What's your reaction to that?
Feminism is not a monolith.
Yeah.
As a mother, I'm a mother. I have 3 daughters and I have a son. So when I look at the world, I'm looking at the world for how will all of my kids fare well in this world. I don't want anything that's gendered in one way or another. But when we're talking about like this male spaces thing,
I definitely think you do though. You know, and that's the only problem I have with the gender thing is like now that it's such a topic, it just takes out reality. Like you're not dropping your 2-year-old daughter off into a daycare with 5 niggas, with 5 straight men. You're not doing that. I'm not even dropping off my son to 5 gay men. I'm not even dropping my son off to 5 straight dudes. What are we doing? What are we doing? Like, it's just what it is, bro. Sometimes, and again, it's the patriarchy. It's the patriarchy. The patriarchy isn't 100% negative. So instead of trying to kill something, why don't we try to, we just work it. You know what I'm saying? This part's a little off. Let me mold it this way. Let me add some things here. You know what I'm saying? Like it's Play-Doh, bro. It doesn't. My cat is having a ball in here. It's not like a stone. You can add things. That's what the future's for. That's what progression is. It's adding things to a thing that maybe the foundation is solid, then you add things to it. And actually we can cut this part off and add a little section here. And this actually isn't necessary. This part doesn't work. It's inefficient. You don't just say, oh yeah, like fuck the prototype, nigga, like whole new shit. Come on, my nigga.
whenever men enter a space, it becomes their space. They're bigger, they're stronger, they're louder. And a lot of times when women feel uncomfortable, we'll just excuse our way out and it's just naturally become a male-only space. That's why most shelters mostly have men, homeless shelters. Like in Denver where I live, all the homeless shelters are mostly men. That's why there are specific women's shelters, because if a woman goes into that shelter, when the lights go out, who knows what's gonna happen to that one little woman in this shelter with all these men. And speaking of this, the domestic violence shelter for men, the one guy that did try to start a domestic violence shelter for men, and he was like a big men's rights activist, but in the true sense, wanting men to have what you want, like domestic violence resources for just for them. He got so laughed out of the world, the dude ended up unaliving himself.
Earl Silverman?
Yeah.
He was laughed at by feminists. He was laughed by feminists.
He was laughed at by men too.
And men.
Not MRAs.
It was
not by MRAs.
So you basically want to excuse all, like, just shed yourself of all the misdeeds of your movement.
No, the men's movement did not demonize Earl Silverman. It was not MRAs who demonized Earl Silverman.
It was men.
us.
It was
us.
toxic
That's what you're
men.
saying.
It was feminists, and the same thing with Erin Pizzi, who I've interviewed, by the way. Feminists demonized Erin Pizzi and Earl Silverman, not MRAs. We did not demonize either of those people.
But
we're not trying to say that we feminists, we're trying to say that the patriarchal viewpoint that men, like laughing at men, oh, look at him trying to get resources. Yeah. It's a joke. So I do not subscribe to that, but that's the patriarchy talking, not feminism.
Show me those men, because I'm around men all the time. Yeah. And I'm from veterans that suffer from PTSD to just regular dudes.
I'll tell you, cite those sources you keep talking.
I have never seen personally, because you're asking for personal experience. I've spoken to hundreds, if not thousands, of those men. And I've never seen a guy tell another guy, you shouldn't do this or you shouldn't behave that way. Because you know what? When we're with each other, guys can just be guys. But still,
okay, let me tell you my experience then. I have seen that many times. I've seen men laugh at each other for like, oh, my girlfriend hit me. You should have been a man. You should have like thugged it out.
Same here.
That happens all the time.
But I'll tell you. Hey, bro, whoever bullied him, y'all are going to hell. Whoever bullied this nigga, you're going to fucking hell.
But do you understand that maybe the guys you hang out with are the guys that they're so-called toxic? Because the masculine men that I'm talking about would never do that.
Okay.
And I also want to say too, are we talking about men or are we talking about children? I don't know no 30-year-old dude being like, hey, bro, your girl just punched you in the face. You're a bitch. My girl punched me in the face 5 times. Do you know what I did? I went to work the next day. Come on, fool. Like, that shit is dumb.
Okay, that's you, and there's me.
But
Personal experiences, right?
But we agree that men should not treat each other that way.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Hey there. I know trying to find a middle ground during a passion.
Prompt was again, do you think women experience more sexism than men? Again, like I said, online, I definitely think it's men. I think men 100% get way more sexist stuff, just kind of posted about them throwing their face every single day. And then I would say in real life, in real situations, just because we do live in a patriarchy, it's a fact. When you walk into a space where there's more men than you're a woman, you are seen as different because you are different. And so I think it takes somebody who's openly conscious about that to try to treat you similar, even though you're not. So yeah, like I say, what the hell? So yeah, I think that'd be my answer. I probably wouldn't have stepped up. I would have stepped up. You know what I'm saying? Y'all should have said bless you. If you ain't say bless you. If you ain't say bless you for real, like your mama a hoe for real. It's your boy TDR Shy Man. Like, subscribe, comment on the video. I appreciate y'all. Give me more videos to watch. Part 3 will be here. Appreciate y'all for watching, and comment and let me know anything else you guys want me to react to. TDR, we out.